What's up, guys? Luke here from Luke's Points and Miles, bringing the January 2023 edition of Ask Me Anything. I post on the community page on YouTube once a month or so, and I take most of the questions and I answer them in a video. Pretty basic, and these videos are relatively long, so I will get an abbreviated intro out of the way. Like and subscribe if you would please, and thank you for all the questions. With that out of the way, let's get started. First question is from longtime friend of the channel, Mr. Jimmy James. Jimmy wants to know my best and worst flight and hotel redemptions. Well, that's a tough one because some of them are special for different reasons, but I'll go with the easiest to explain. My favorite flight redemption was Qatar Q Suites from Chicago to Dubai. What a great experience using American Airlines miles, and it was really fun meeting an old Navy buddy in Qatar and spending a few days in that part of the world. Best hotel redemption is something folks are probably getting tired of me talking about, but it's the Conrad in Fort Lauderdale. So as you can see, we really like that property. No real reason, just the great service and giant rooms. Worst redemptions, I think, is when I booked 3 tickets to Dublin using my American Express Business Platinum and paying with membership rewards points. The redemption really wasn't terrible, but I just didn't have the transfer partner knowledge I do now. I feel like I way overspent on what should have been a fairly cheap redemption. As far as worst hotel redemptions, I've had minor hotel issues, but I hate to really put any one hotel out there. I like going into my hotel stays with really no expectations and just hope for the best. That way I'm easily wowed. If I had to pick worst, I'd say any airport Hilton. They aren't bad by any means, but it really does seem like it's just a place to lie down for the night. Manny Covington wants to know what I think the credit card space would look like if a certain pandemic had never happened. Well, Manny, that's a tough one. If I remember correctly, securities were way up and interest rates were way down. Credit was really easy to get and everyone was earning. I don't think something like that could continue forever, but I really couldn't speculate on how issuers would have been had this thing not happened. I would probably agree with you that there may not be as many huge elevated sign-up bonuses, and Chase definitely would not have the pay yourself back program. But I think for most of us, not much would be different. We'd still be optimizing our spend for our bonuses, but I definitely was one of those people that did not stop traveling, and I appreciated all the low airfare and high vacancy, even if service was pretty bad during those times. Next up, we have the Sander compound, and I believe this is her first question. She asked if I'm saving points from one issuer and my mission is a European trip in 2 to 3 years, which issuer am I picking? Okay, I don't think there's any question that we're looking at Chase or American Express here. I'm personally a huge American Express fan because I think in 2 to 3 years you can turn up your velocity with sign-up bonuses with American Express. I think you could get 10 plus cards no problem with American Express and amass enough MR points to fly first or business and stay at the best hotels. Chase may take a little longer. You're only going to get 5 cards unless you're working the business side. So I'm going with American Express based on the fact I can collect the most sign-up bonuses in that time. And sign-up bonuses are just way too powerful a tool to ignore. Chase, second place in this one. This month's Q&A looks like it has some fun questions, and Jesse H wants to know how they can be cool like Uncle Luke. Well, I'm going to assume that I'm Uncle Luke, which I appreciate better than Grandpa Luke. Well, Jesse, here's the deal. With all the stuff folks deal with in our society in 2023, I have to believe that this is the first time in our history that being cool really means being you. Do your thing, be authentic, and nothing is cooler than that, right? Thanks for the question. Mo Joe has a question about the American Express Charles Schwab Platinum Card in the second year with no retention offer. Is it worth keeping if he's not going to be traveling in 2023? Mo, I will say no. If you're not traveling, then drop that coupon card. Sounds like I'm joking, but I'm not. I don't think the Charles Schwab is a great option just because you can cash out MR points at 1.1 cents. $695 is a massive annual fee, and I understand the credits can more than offset that, but I don't think it's a great option if you're not using the lounge access, the fine hotels and resorts, and the airline fee credit. I don't normally have any problem canceling cards unless they're very old. But I'm not holding on to the platinum card if I'm not traveling the world Ric Flair style. David Ruiz asks, now that I have the Chase Business trifecta, which Chase Business co-branded cards am I going after first? That's a great question. I'm constantly reevaluating my travel, and that's because my life changes constantly. I like to talk a lot of trash about Southwest on this channel, but I've actually booked 2 different Southwest flights recently. I don't really fly United much, and I've already stated my feelings about Hilton for now in 2023. So as of now, with my primary strategy to build transferable currencies, I think what more likely I could be getting additional ink cards for my other business. As long as that sign-up bonus is there, there's a chance I'm sending an app through for one of the ink cards. Most likely ink cash for the Luke's Points and Miles business. NS has an interesting question. Do YouTubers in the finance realm have a secret chat where they talk shop? NS basically wants the tea. That's a really timely question for me because up until recently, I had never interacted on a personal level with any YouTube creators. Recently, I have been conversing with some young up-and-comers, and I have to say that has helped me really improve my game. I also recently met Brandon from Investment Joy the other day, and I'd like to speak with him again if I can. He has a lot of great advice. If you haven't seen Investment Joy's channel, he's the laundromat guy. I do know a lot of the bigger names share things such as the same talent agency or representation as far as sponsorships and all that. And you see them collaborate to create the infinite content loop where they react to each other's videos. But I'm sorry, I don't have any tea, I guess. I would say that everyone I have met in the YouTube space has turned out to be much nicer and humble in person than I could ever have imagined. And I think the actual credit card space has enough different styles that it's exciting for me to see others' perspectives. Doc wants to know what my favorite breakfast or first meal of the day is. Doc, my stomach does not have a clock, so in the morning, anything is an option. If I had to pick one thing, it's coffee. Every single morning, 2 cups of coffee with honey and heavy cream. After that, anything goes. Jason Miller wants to know how I think the upcoming recession or downturn will affect the credit card game. Well, I'm not sure because when these things happen, I'm almost always an outlier. In 2001, I didn't notice the change. 2008, the housing market crash, it didn't affect me. This go round, it won't matter to me, but the only 2 things I'm involved in is real estate and credit cards. I don't pay interest on credit cards, and I don't really care if my credit limits go down. It doesn't look like banks are limiting lending to businesses, so it's been okay so far. Interest rates on real estate seem to be something most folks don't understand. I would be looking at lower priced single family homes in central Ohio, so those are always around if you want to look hard enough. Will I pay a higher interest rate? Possibly, but I can always refinance that later, and it's fine as long as that property cash flows. At the end of the day, interest rates and credit limits look like the only thing of concern in the credit card world, and those 2 things just don't matter to me. I don't pay interest, and I don't spend enough to ever get close to my limits. Todd Trimble wants to know if Citi will release the best premium card of the year. Man, Todd, that is a bold prediction, but let's give them credit for the custom cash. It's not out of this world for a powerhouse like Citi to hire some talent to turn their credit card game around. I'm still thinking they will be content to take care of the folks that are already Citi customers. So I'm thinking this summer we'll get a look at an average run-of-the-mill travel card. Let's hope I'm wrong. Keith Schmidt wants to know if I got a tattoo of a credit card, which card would it be and what card would I use to pay for it? Keith, that's not gonna happen. I'm way too old to be getting tattoos, but which card I would use to pay for it, here's the deal. I would likely negotiate a cash price and tip that would benefit both of us. We need these artistic folks and they deserve a break on credit card processing fees, and I don't mind a break on that sales tax. Robert Dwarf, one of our Big League Elite members, wants to know if canceling business cards has affected my ability to get new business cards with American Express. Robert, it has not yet. I've closed several business cards with American Express and I still get offers all the time. I just got a second Blue Business Plus back in October, and I opened a business checking with American Express just very recently. I'm sure one day I'll get the dreaded pop-up, but so far the business sector seems to be a lot more lenient than the consumer side. Sledge Inc team is another credit card YouTuber and a big time dad. If you haven't checked out his channel, please do so. He wants to know how many cards I plan on opening in 2023. Sledge, I don't have a specific strategy mapped out just yet, but there is a chance I'll be closing more than I open. I do see at least one more Chase business card application soon, and this summer I plan on trying my luck on the personal side with Chase. If I had to guess a number, I'd say 4 cards in 2023. But moderation is not my strong suit, so I'm sure I will go over that. Zachary Raper wants to know when the best time to book rewards travel with Air France. That's a great question, Zach, because it looks like with Air France, you need to have your head on a swivel. I booked 6 months in advance for a Paris trip during the summer, and it was a super deal. I also see that they periodically released sales on awards flights. I don't know if there is a concrete answer with Air France except to just keep checking, and when you see a fare you can live with, execute the redemption. I currently have 151,000 Air France points, and I am just waiting to strike. RJ Financial is one of my favorite creators right now. He has a channel on credit cards, one for bank account bonuses, and even a new blog. Go check him out. He needs a good arsenal of pickup lines. RJ, this is a difficult question for me to answer because I don't pick up women. There was a time when I was young and pretty, and for the most part, they chased me. Now, I'm an old married man, completely out of the game. I do know one thing though. Lots of folks like to talk about themselves, so whatever lines you have should include that. Try to stay awake though. Sometimes they can blab for a long while. As you can see, I wasn't a very nice single person. I actually have no idea how I got a wife. Citizen01 wants to know how to fly to France round trip in business class. Well, I don't know where you're flying from, but check out Air France. They're a transfer partner with American Express, and you can find awesome redemptions with them. If you want, take a look at my series called Maximum Value Redemptions. I actually have a video where we execute a redemption flying to Paris in business class. Evan Gibson wants to know how much I can strict overhead press. Well, Evan, it's something I have been good at, but recently I'm switching over to more of an old man type workout, so not a lot of heavy stuff. But not too long ago, I think I was doing 185 for reps, 6 or 7 reps maybe, standing. So yeah, I was pretty okay at that. I've broken some things like collarbones and things like that, so I had to get that part of my body strong. Anthony Venture is another one of these up and coming credit card creators. Check his channel out if you haven't yet. He wants to know how to get jacked. Anthony, I'm probably not the best person to ask, but in the days I was actually jacked, I would have told you to focus more on strength and powerlifting type workouts and to stay as lean as possible. But most importantly, don't curl in the squat rack and don't skip the leg stuff. Okay guys, this will likely be a longer video, so I won't spend a bunch of time with an outro. If you want to support the channel, check out my links in the description. And if you stayed around all the way to the end, I appreciate you and I thank you. Enjoy my sweet outro song.